Happy Friday, I'm Rob Mack.
Oh, and I'm Jasmine Moyer. Welcome to EverTalk Live, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. for all things happiness in Hollywood, a little pop culture and positivity, and I couldn't be happier to be here with you today.
Feeling is mutual.
Rob
Boy,
Mack.
it feels like a Friday, doesn't it?
It
feels
is,
like a Friday.
isn't it?
Yeah, it feels like one though. It actually feels like one. It doesn't feel like a Monday
Oh my
or a
God,
Tuesday.
you had me scared for a second. I thought, is it Thursday? And
Yeah. It is a bit of a challenge here because we always feel like sometimes the days run together. I'm sure everybody experiences that, right?
Absolutely, but it is totally Friday, and I'm bringing the Miami vibe.
I see that. You got the floral print.
I'm so excited that we're going to Miami next week. You have no idea.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I always love going to Miami. This is a perfect outfit for Miami. You can go out in that. You can go to the beach in that.
Well, thank you very much. Of course, no one's surprised. It's hashtag rent the runway. And if you use the code RTRJaslyn, of course, you can get $100 off your first month of an unlimited closet, just like mine.
Wow, that's amazing. A whole closet. I mean, unlimited. That's unbelievable.
Conscious closet.
Conscious closet. Love that.
Shared fashion. Last year, I wore over $72,000 worth of clothes.
Shut up. You added up, or they added up for you?
They added up for me.
Wow.
And everything I rented last year, they said it was equal to $72,000 if I would have purchased the items I wore. I thought,
smokes.
that was a deal.
Yeah, that's really smart on their part to make sure that you know how much you've actually worn, right? Because they're like, oh, what's $100 a month? It's nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about that. Of course, I'm having Rent the Runway ship my clothes to Miami because there's going to be a lot of wardrobe
See, that's the
changes.
other amazing thing. I guess they ship everywhere, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's
Wow.
perfect for when you travel because then I can pack less and wear more.
Yeah, that's critical.
There you go. Exactly. It is critical. So I'm also taking recommendations because I don't know Miami well, although you're going to be an incredible tour guide.
But I'm guessing some of the ladies probably know a lot better than me.
Well, if any of you are watching and you know Miami well, please, leave us a comment, slide into our DMs, tell us where you want us to go.
Yeah,
I'm
I love
super
it.
excited.
I know. It's changed so much. I mean, when I lived there, I mean, that was, years and years ago, and so much just changed. I mean, every city evolves so much, but Miami's evolved a lot. LA's evolved a lot, huh? I remember when I used to just visit LA. It seems so different from then.
Okay, so if you could describe Miami in an emoji, what would it be?
In an emoji? Praise emoji. That or the sunglasses one, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a mix of both. It's like party and relaxing at the same time.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be listening to that old school Will Smith song the entire time.
Oh my gosh, I know, it's great, right? Remember, who was it? Eva Mendes was in that one, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man, that was a great throwback video right there.
That was.
Yeah, he's done a couple
wasn't
of like Miami kind of music videos, hasn't he? Or at least reference Miami.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to have a little Flashback Friday with you next week in Miami, Rob. This is going to be super fun.
I'm excited, absolutely. And you're doing a keynote.
I am. Oh my gosh, it's my first keynote. I am as equally excited as I am absolutely terrified.
Yeah.
So I'm presenting a speech. It's Hollywood meets market structure arbitrage.
Oh, wow, that sounds intense.
Right? It is intense. So for those of you watching who might be new to the show, I am where kind of fashion meets finance. And I do another show here on the network called The Trading Bell. As a quantitative stock trader, everybody's like, wait, what?
Love that.
That girl? Uh-huh.
I'm bringing my notebook. I'm
Please
taking notes.
do.
Yeah.
Please do. And take all the Insta stories for me.
Oh, yeah, well, I got you covered. I'm so terrible about that, doing that on my own, right? You need somebody else to do it.
We'll work on that in Miami, Rob.
We will indeed.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Well, we're so excited to welcome our very special guest to the show today. Hello, everyone.
Good morning.
In the studio, and good morning.
Hey, how are you?
Guys, waking up back there.
Yeah, please. I think it's time for a little mezcal, right?
There you go.
This party started.
Yeah.
Yes, Gaston Martinez is in the house. Good morning, Gaston.
Hey, good morning.
Thank you for bringing the mezcal today. We're excited to talk about it later in the show. We want to know, though, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine?
Well, first of all, I just play nice music, like a soft music, and I make myself a nice green tea.
Oh, that sounds good. So who are you playing these days? Have any favorite artists or tracks?
No, I love like a chill house music, just to start, and any type of music that is chill house is phenomenal for me.
All right, I can get behind the chill house music.
Oh, I thought he was saying jailhouse.
It's a whole different.
I thought that is what happens when you drink too much.
That's right.
Mezcal.
The jail.
Also,
Yeah, whole different kind of genre there.
End up in the jail.
That's right. Yes, that's hilarious.
Well, Christina Kripp is in the house. She is the author of Made Simple, and of course, she's from the Castaway Kitchen. How are you today, Christina?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
So how do you wake up and stay woke? What's your routine like?
Well, I have a 7-year-old, so I wake up and check on him, make sure he's alive. And then my other baby, I have a little mini schnauzer, and feed him. And then I have some tea, because I just gave up coffee. Help me. And I journal a little bit before then I start, the hustle, like the normal email, social media, making breakfast for the kids and all that.
Oh, awesome. So you do keep it simple. What do you journal about?
So usually, like, I tend to be a nighttime thinker, so I or like if I have really vivid dreams, I always have like really crazy dreams and I remember them. So I kind of jot them down and put my intentions forward for the day. Like as an entrepreneur, I think that's a big thing of like, you have to know what you want and go for it, and also ride that roller coaster, because it's not always like sunshine and rainbows, and we have those moments. You know, they always say like, being an entrepreneur is like, this is amazing, this is the worst, I'm a genius, I'm failing. So I tend to journal those emotions so I can go back and be like, okay, I'm not totally crazy. This is just the wave.
That's true. That's like being like bipolar, schizophrenic, and a Gemini all at the same time.
Exactly.
Right. I am a Gemini.
Are you?
Yes.
So I knew you guys were cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
Because Jez also says something that you say about being a night thinker, right? You're a daydreamer.
Daydreamer, night thinker. I think that's a Gemini experience. When is your birthday, Christina?
June 20th.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
June 1st. We're in great company.
We are in good company.
Philip, you're a Gemini as well?
I'm a Gemini, June 9th.
Oh,
All right.
okay. I knew I liked him. I always attract Geminis in my life. It's a thing.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So, Philip, obviously you're hot off Hulu's Utopia Falls. We want to know all about the series later in the show. But first, else, how do you wake up and stay woke? What's your morning routine?
I start every morning with some meditation and a cold shower. And then I really like to connect with Mother Nature. So me and my bird, pet, go outside, get some sun, and enjoy what Mother Nature has to offer that day.
Wait,
I for sure thought you were going to pull out a real bird. Is that a real one, right? I like for sure was like, okay,
I'm like,
it's about to get real.
Hang on, check
It
my
is real.
contacts. What is he holding in his hand right now?
Oh, super cool.
It's
my
a
bird.
crystal?
No, it's a bird. A crystal?
It's a bird. Oh,
So
I
is
got
it a
mine
real
this
bird?
morning.
Does it fly?
Well, she did at one point.
At one point, okay.
Oh,
But
wow.
it's not doing
sweet.
so well these days.
Oh my goodness, incredible.
That's beautiful.
A very novel way to start the morning, I have to say. We have not had that experience yet.
That's a first.
I do love that.
Leave it to Gemini Philip. Well, thank you all so
Exactly.
much for being with us. We look forward to continuing the conversation later in the
Thank
show.
you.
Oh, so awesome. I remember playing baseball, and you know, you were mentioning your crystal.
Yeah.
And when I used to play baseball, you know, I was going through a slump, and I remember a guy giving me like a pebble, like a lucky pebble, and I put it in my pocket, and I would always keep it in there. And lo and behold, it felt like my whole life turned around, like in terms of the baseball, started hitting the ball again.
Really?
Yeah, and then I used to wear the same pants, and I'm sure my mom washed them because she's good like that. And but I kept doing well, and then one day I discovered the pebble wasn't there anymore, and I was like, oh man, maybe the luck and the talent isn't in the pebble.
Mom,
maybe
check
it was in
the
me.
washer.
Yeah, exactly, totally. Tell us about the rock, Jez. This is your.
Well, you know what's interesting is that I've, in the past couple of years since we've been doing the show, collected all of these crystals.
Yeah.
And I've never bought one of them, but they've always been gifted to me for some reason. And I've never been gifted the same crystal twice.
Oh, really?
Very interesting from
It
the
is
universe,
interesting.
right?
Yeah.
And so certain people say this is for your protection, this is for your love or your heart or your clarity or being grounded, rooted, etc. And they said, you know, this one is for clarity around finances. And so since I've been doing the Trading Bell, I've been keeping my lucky citrine crystal with me. Yesterday we were doing the episode with Neil Green, founder of Jawboy, who of course is our host in Miami. And we were talking finances and the conference and of course the wild stock market. And I said, well, maybe you need this crystal. And he was like, what? Why do you have a rock? I was like, well, I manifest, you invest, and we'll see what happens. You know, it's a toss up which one's gonna work for either one of us.
It's working for you. I feel like you made millions to that show already.
I'm on my way.
Yeah, totally.
You know, I was saying yesterday, it's funny because with the whole coronavirus scare, people are really concerned and prepping to stay at home. So I mentioned Blue Apron. I think meal delivery service is a great idea.
It is a great idea.
So I mentioned Blue Apron on the Trading Bell, and we're live, and it went up 22% after that. I thought that, see, Neil?
It's working.
Citrine. So we'll see.
working.
Again, it's up again this morning.
Wow.
So keeping an eye on Blue Apron today. Of course, you know, full disclosure, I'm not a money manager. I'm just a trader and a television host. So
it's
I'm not
entertainment.
advising you to, you know, buy or sell, just inspiring
I
you.
love that. You got some hats there. Look, are those trucker hats?
Yes, trucker hats from Gaston.
Love those. I love the black and white.
So
Black and white.
cool,
Yeah, very
right?
clean, very clean look. You know, it's interesting. You're talking about I was talking about my lucky pebble. You're talking about the rock. You know, and there was something I was reading recently. You know, I like reading research studies, and there was something called the illusory truth effect. Which,
what does that mean?
Yeah, it's kind of wild. So, you know, everybody's talking about like fake news. That's fake news.
Right.
And so, you know, there is some truth to the fake news, meaning that when you repeat a piece of information, a statement, often enough, you start to believe it, right? And that mostly as human beings, we actually prefer familiarity over rationality. So we're a lot less rational than I think most sort of economists would assume. If you remember, like Keynesian economics, they'd always talk about, well, it's really based on this idea that, people are mostly rational and reasonable. And of course, we know that living in LA, that's not necessarily the case. But yeah, people prefer or tend to have sort of an affinity for that which they hear repeated over and over and over again. And so sometimes we live our lives based on this false idea or false news just because we've heard it over and over so many times.
So right? Is that the same for what you're repeating to yourself in your head?
Yes, exactly. Like, so part of the, we've talked about like luck before, and like that book, The Luck Factor, which I loved, I remember reading years ago. But sometimes the power of something is in the fact that you believe that it's possible, or that you believe that it's happening. And I know that with sports, that was the case with me. I mean, I was always in my head, and I was always feeling like insecurity and doubt. And I had certain little things in my life, or certain people in my life, like my mom, that would always remind me of how great I was. And sometimes that really has not sometimes, it does have a very real and profound effect on how well you perform. It's kind of wild.
It really does. So how do we reframe that and really use the elusive?
Yeah.
How do you say it?
Illusory truth effect.
Illusory truth effect. To benefit us.
I think so. It's interesting. So that's part of the reason I think people use affirmations, right? When you repeat something to yourself over and over again, and even though you don't believe it at first, over time you eventually start to believe it. Becomes increasingly familiar. The other thing I think, which is apparently even more helpful, is when you've got somebody in your life that's an encourager that says it to you and sort of for you, right? That's another reason too that, like, when I was really struggling with depression and suicidal ideation and just a lack of self-confidence and so much insecurity, I would listen to a lot of authors or videos online, and I would just have it play all day, every day. Sometimes just that, you need almost somebody to help you or sort of think for you can be very helpful. But what's worked for you, Jazz? I mean, I feel like you're always sort of growing in terms of confidence and security and
daily affirmations.
Yeah.
Really, that has been huge for me. Mirror Talk, which seems crazy, but that was actually a recommendation from one of our guests just last year. And she said, I really think you should look in the mirror and say something nice to yourself. And I thought, I've seen that in every teenage movie, every Utopia Falls, right? They're writing in lipstick on their mirror something beautiful about themselves. That's not realistic or practical. And in fact, the Windex doesn't take off that lipstick. I've tried it, so no. But lo and behold, the truth is when I saw myself in the mirror, I wasn't saying anything to myself that was kind, that was loving, that was any sort of truth that I would like to accept. When I saw my reflection, it was instantly everything that was wrong with me. My hair is out of place, I should whiten my teeth, eyebrows need to be done, ooh, I look tired. You know what I mean? There was just this list of things, rather than looking at myself and saying, hey, good job today. You did your best and that's enough. You are enough. Love you, hair looks good. You know what I mean? Any of that, I wasn't feeding any positive truth to myself.
Yeah, I love that. I think one of the people, I'm not sure she coined or created the practice, but Louise Hay, she was a Los Angelino, and she was the founder of Hay House. So they published like Wayne Dyer's books and so many Deepak Chopra's books. And so she put out a documentary after she had written a book called Heal Your Life. And so the documentary is called Heal Your Life, the documentary, or the DVD. It's kind of hard to get these days. But in the documentary, she talks a lot about the mirror work and how profoundly it changed her life. I mean, she was a model for a long time, and then she went through a lot of, really sort of upsetting and traumatic experiences. And she came around to realizing that, on some level, she was sort of inviting experiences into her life because she didn't have a deep sense of confidence and a deep sense of security in, herself. So I love that you bring that up, Jess. It's just like powerful, like the mirror work. Yeah.
Working on that confidence so I can take it to Miami.
There you go. There you go. Love that.
Well, thank you all so much for being with us today. Keep streaming. We will be right back with more. Some great guests are ahead. And I'm Jasmine Moyer. This is EverTalk Live, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. in the Ever Media Studios for a little Hollywood and happiness, positivity, and pop culture. On Apple TV and Roku via the EverTalk app, and of course streaming live on all socials.
I've got so much love in my life, and then I get to do this with you every single day. I mean, it's incredible.
If you have a dream, do not let anything stop you.
You can have all the money or all the success in the world, but if you don't have peace, it's all worthless, really, right?
Happiness from the inside out. Please be sure, if you haven't read this book,
sweet.
You've got to.
I love
what we do.
I do too, Jess.
Miracles. I'd like just my life to be an example that miracles exist. I am just so grateful that we get to be a part of this journey together, Rob, whether it's 4 a.m. texting up peanut butter and jellies or coming to you live Monday through Friday every 9 a.m. You know when you're going to see that, Eddie?
Yes.
When we're holding it in our own hands,
that's
Rob,
right.
for Best Digital Daytime Talk Show.
What makes people lucky, like actually lucky, is that they believe they're lucky.
But thank you for being my mentor, Rob.
Likewise.
He didn't even know it.
True.
I'm out all the time. I'm everywhere. I'm drinking my wine. I'm doing the show. I'm stepping and repeating. I'm some kind of red carpet. I had a little too much. I was like, one drink Jeslin. One drink Jeslin. 2 tequila Jeslin. 2 tequila Jeslin.
One drink Jazz.
Is this 1 drink Jeslin? I hope you're proud, Rob.
I'm very
reading
proud
a
of you,
book.
actually. I don't know how you have the hair is killing it today.
Oh, thank
Are
you.
you feeling-
Clearly, we have no fun around here. It's a thing. Thought of the day: light, love, and magic. Oh, I do it fun. It was wild. Absolutely. Oh my God! Do you know we're still on live, Rob? Right now,
You gotta be kidding.
talking to my angels.
That's hilarious. That's-
They always say if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life, right? I absolutely love what I do.
Yeah,
We
it's
couldn't do what we do without the support of you watching. Thank you for sharing, for DMing, for commenting, for continuing to support us as we grow and scale our vision. For the people in the studio and their friends and families for having our backs. We're so grateful.
Right. And I'm most deeply and genuinely grateful for you. Truly I am, Jazz. It's just a pleasure every day to get to connect with you and work with you. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you. I'm so grateful for you. We love you, Rob Mack. There isn't a man or woman who hasn't met you and said you're the best dressed person in Los Angeles and the happiest guy we know. It's an honor to be able to do this show with
Appreciate
you.
that.
Welcome back to EverTalk Live. If you want to heal yourself through healthy habits and real food, then you want to meet our next guest, Christina Kripp from the Castaway Kitchen. Thanks for being with us
Thank
today.
you so much for having me.
So tell us, how did you heal yourself through food?
Yeah, I have autoimmune conditions. I mean, more than one, but the biggest one that was just this defining factor in my life was hidradenitis suppurativa, which it's a mouthful. We call it HS for short, but it's a debilitating skin condition. It affects parts of your body where there's lymph node concentrations. It's abscesses and boils. It's embarrassing. It's painful. It leaves scars. I grew up in Miami, so throw that into the bag of cats and talk about
All
traumatizing.
skin.
Right, and so it was really hard, and I got to that. I lived there for 18 years, and doctors didn't help me, and they just told me like antibiotics or cortisone shots. I was 29 years old. I had a baby. We were living in Hawaii, and it started spreading to areas where it wasn't before, and I hit this panic, and so I hit to Dr. Google back then and started doing all this research, and I found the autoimmune protocol and the connection between food and my symptoms, and I couldn't believe it that no one had mentioned it. But I was a restaurant chef, so I was like, I can do food. So I started applying these protocols into the elimination protocols, removing allergens, inflammatory foods, and it worked. I've been in remission now for years, 4 years now. It took about a year to get there, and I can't tell you how it's changed my life. I'm no longer in pain. I can do things. I mean, I can wear. I mean, I'm not wearing sleeves right now. No longer affects me. I lost 60 pounds. I had also been really overweight. I no longer have inflammation, fatigue, brain fog. I mean, it's
wow. So
incredible.
did you just have to clean house and stop eating practically everything you were eating and replace it all, or were there specific foods that you just had to really focus on?
So everyone's different, right? And that's kind of my approach with in my book. So with Made Simple, what I'm giving you is how the body works. I want to tell you how it works so you know, because once you know how it works, you know how it works for you. And this information isn't just, it's not given to us. You know, we're talking, there's so many people, they want to sell you a plan and say this way works. But I know, because now I help thousands of people heal as well, but they're not going to heal doing what I did. They have to figure out what's going to work for them. So, but yes, it is about removing inflammatory foods. So definitely like big ones, like anything processed, sugar, refined carbohydrates, inflammatory seed-based oils, things like that. So I walk you through not just, hey, take them out, but why? And maybe why especially for you. So for me, one of my biggest trigger foods, which is what we call a food that can incite a reaction, is our nightshades. So tomatoes, eggplant, white potato, and any kind of pepper.
You wouldn't expect that, right?
It's a vegetable. It's a healthy food. I used to
Right.
love eggplant. I mean, I was a chef. Right? Tomato sauce, are you kidding me? From scratch marinara was like my jam. And when I thought, I can't cook in a restaurant again. Like if I react to tomatoes and potatoes, how am I ever going to be a restaurant chef again? And but that's how the Castaway Kitchen was born.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I just love that. So in working with, you know, different types of people, what are the main triggers and symptoms that you've seen that people were like, I didn't expect this to be from the food I was eating?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So one of the biggest things, and this isn't a major like debilitating trigger, but it's just something that you realize a lot of people have, postnasal drip, or like eczema, kind of flaky, rashy skin.
That's so funny because
Go ahead.
person who shall remain nameless,
Yeah.
every time I eat with them, nose drips. And I'm like, what is going on here? Why do you need a Kleenex over a hamburger? I just don't understand.
These connections people need to start making, because it might be livable right now, but that could develop into something. So I like to practice like preventative. So if you have symptoms now, like heartburn, like acid reflux is something that it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, Tums and acids, but all these proton pump inhibitors, they're lowering your stomach acid production. And what that's gonna make is you're not gonna digest your food properly. You're gonna be malnourished, and it can even cause leaky gut. So there's so many things that people do on a daily basis that they're not, it's wild, because yes, for now it might be okay, but it might not be in a few years. And you go through one stressful event, a divorce, a car accident, you know, financial something, and that can incite the, you know, your gene expression, and voila, you manifested autoimmune disease. Because that's how it works. It's like in our genes, but like sometimes the gene expression is like a switch that turns on and off. Wow. So those are common ones. But again, autoimmunity, like women with Hashimoto's, the rates, it does affect men, but women more. Brain fog, just that kind of like, I can't focus, you know? And waking up in the middle of the night. If you wake up around 2, 3 in the morning and you have a hard time going back to sleep, that's a sign of blood sugar dysregulation. We have to talk about what's going on there.
Well, that's me.
Yeah.
I know, so it's so funny because a lot of people, I mean,
Guilty.
it's hard because you realize, you know, and I'm telling people, I don't want people to live a restricted life. I love food. Food should be for enjoyment and pleasure. But I want you to love the food that loves you back.
Love that.
That is so important. And I think sometimes we'll see someone kind of restricting something from their diet. They think they give that a negative connotation.
Right.
If I don't eat red meat,
Sure.
it's for negative reasons, not because, hey, that just doesn't work for me.
Right.
So how? So you did this, and where can people start with this? Do they have to? Because you know, part of the challenge, I guess, is because you don't know exactly what food or foods are causing the problem, and unless you eliminate them all and then add them one by one back in, you don't know, right? So how do you recommend people start?
So there are a few different elimination protocols that you can do. I tend to, the way I work now, like my first book was Made Whole, and that one I really outlined like popular elimination protocols, the autoimmune protocol, or like going paleo, or even things like programs like Whole30 can be useful, right? But I think what I started seeing in my line of work is that people would get stuck in the elimination phase because they would create food fear.
Yeah.
Because now their symptoms are gone and they don't want to reintroduce
Right.
foods. And so with Made Simple, that's why I give you the how. I talk about digestion, how it should work, how to optimize it, blood sugar regulation, fatty acid balance, mineral and hydration. Because that way, when you understand what's happening, like the mechanisms behind why this stuff is working for you, then you won't get paralyzed in that fear.
Yeah.
So I do outline autoimmune protocol and paleo and like grain-free, allergen-friendly protocols, but I really like to emphasize it's not forever. It's not forever, you know?
Right.
Because I think that long-term restriction can be detrimental.
So when you figured out what triggered you and you eliminated those things in your life, how did it really change?
It's incredible because people, I think about this sometimes, and everything changed. I mean, not only my health, but my mental health, like my physical health, my mental health. I struggled with ADHD, I have depression, None of that. I mean, and like I have none of those symptoms anymore. I have boundless energy, and even just my life took, my career took off, my marriage became healthier, and even just my family. Like I have a 7-year-old, and my husband's active duty military, and it's incredible seeing how the whole family as a whole we've changed. No one in my household takes any kind of prescription medication. We're all super healthy, and our life revolves around kind of like wellness and being active and doing things together and human connection. And I have healthy coping mechanisms now, where before I would binge eat, or I would I kind of call like using food as self-harm. It's kind of like binge eating. I was like to that point. Or I used to drink a lot. I mean, I grew up in Miami, party girl. That was me. I mean, I did all the things, right?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like I was someone who always lived a healthy lifestyle. Like you're talking to a Miami nightlife veteran who did and I had this skin condition, and I was overweight, and I grew up in Miami, and my self-esteem was crap, and I did the drugs and the drinking and all the bad things. And I think back now, and I mean, I'm 35, and I think about me at 23, and I'm like, oh my God, I wish I could give her a hug.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
It's so fascinating. So tell us about Castaway Kitchen.
So the Castaway Kitchen, the name came about because we were living in Hawaii. We were in this hotel room, because when you're in the military and you move somewhere new, like you live in a hotel for a while until you find a house. So I felt very castaway. And also because my family's Cuban, and so there was a whole nautical thing. And so my logo's a paper boat. You know?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really beautiful.
And so I started posting on my iPhone 5, like pictures of food I was cooking and sharing it online. And it kind of took off because luckily with my culinary skills, I'm able to create meals that are extremely good for you, but that taste really good.
Oh, wow.
So people don't feel like they're missing out. So people can really nourish their body and still get pleasure from food, and food with cultural significance and celebratory things, because it shouldn't be a prison sentence. It is a lifestyle,
Fantastic. So exciting.
It really is so exciting, and I just love the freedom you're able to offer
Yes.
people, because that's what it's really about. And so many people have these triggers, and they live in this pain and just this world that could be so much more fulfilling and so much more fun if they knew what they could eat and how they could celebrate. So thank you for doing that and making it simple for us.
Thank you.
Please tell everyone where they can find and follow you.
Yeah, so I'm at the Castaway Kitchen on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. I'm all over Pinterest. My blog, thecastaway.kitchen.com, has hundreds of free recipes and articles. I've been at this forever, and both my books are available anywhere books are sold. So Made Whole is everywhere, and then Made Simple comes out in 2 weeks on March 10th. So yeah, and I just started a podcast, Body Wise podcast, with my sister.
Nice,
who's a
congrats.
holistic sexual health educator. So we kind of get into like all the women's health issues. But yeah, thanks.
Very
Love it.
exciting.
Staying
Thank you,
busy.
Christina. We appreciate you. Keep streaming. We'll be right back.
Time is the greatest thief because it's forever stealing the past.
This was a legacy of our founder, Gaia.
The youth of New Babel train so that we can honor our founders through performance in the city's competition.
Must be excited.
Almost definitely.
What if my name isn't called?
You're a beautiful dancer.
What's that?
I found one of those in my room too.
You are invited to a celebration beyond the city limits. Tell no one.
What is that?
I'm the archive. Choose your subject.
What's hip hop?
Whoa. How's he doing that so fast?
I have no idea. There is so much incredible music here. It's not just music, it's books and art and who knows what else. Why would they keep something like this from us?
Life is insanity. Tripping on it massively, we up gravity.
What is the point of this act of defiance?
can't pretend like I never found this. They don't want you to know the truth. But it's too late for them to stop us.
For the first time, there's a connection between art and what my life is actually like.
But we built a community to protect you. The time has come to wake up the people and give them their freedom.
This is a revolution we're talking about.
Wow.
Yes.
The power of music can really ignite change, and no one knows that better than you, Philip. So thank you, one, so much for being with us today, but two, that looks
Oh my gosh.
cool.
That's a trailer right there.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
amazing.
that's pretty much it right there.
Yeah.
So what was your experience like being a part of Utopia Falls on Hulu?
So I'm the musician on the show. We've got dancers and singers as well, but we follow a group of teenagers who perform at called The Exemplar, where they celebrate art and culture. And so I play the drums and the piano and the violin in real life, but on the show I mainly play the drums.
Holy smokes. When did you start playing instruments?
From a very young age, actually. I was homeschooled most of my life. So as an extracurricular activity, my mom put all of me and my siblings into music lessons. All of us kind of played a different instrument.
Yeah.
Got 7 siblings, so.
7?
Oh my goodness.
Oof. Play?
Yeah, all of
Wow.
them. Yeah, violin, guitar, piano, cello.
Oh my goodness.
Family band.
Yeah.
We had a little orchestra going at one point.
Wow, that is so interesting. So how has music really impacted your life? I mean,
It's everything to me. It's a huge passion of mine. So it was really cool to implement my passion for acting with music and kind of put both of those up onto the screen. So.
Yeah. So music was your first love, and then you discovered sort of acting later?
Correct, yeah.
When did you discover acting, and what made you fall in love with it?
Again, as an extracurricular activity, my mom put me into this theater production, and it was really just my first steps onto the stage that made me fall in love with it, and then I just transitioned from the theater to the screen.
Did you start booking stuff right away?
I didn't really get into it fully until I was a little bit older. As soon as I realized that you could actually make a career out of this, I kind of just went for it. So.
Yeah. What actors and even musicians have inspired you the most?
Probably, I would say that Heath Ledger was one of my biggest inspirations growing up.
Why?
I've used a lot of his methods in my own work, and I've just studied his work.
Yeah.
And of course, obviously, Joker was a big one. But,
real big.
Yeah.
he's an incredible artist.
Yeah, really
Any
was.
musicians that you love?
Bach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love classical music. Also, A Tribe Called Red, the band. They're a native band, and they bring a lot of their culture into their work, and there's some people I've always listened to growing up.
So who or what kind of inspires you, helps you kind of get into that zone, if you will, whether it's for music or acting?
I would say my family plays a big role in that. They're always just people that I can call if I ever need to fully immerse myself into something. And obviously sometimes it can be a scary thing when you're going deep into like a darker character or something like that. So they're just kind of they're my home base. They're the people that ground me and really keep me.
Yeah. What's been the most difficult part of your journey, personal or professional, in your life so far?
I think that, I'm just like anybody else, and I struggle with, mental health and daily struggles and things that I think that there's this facade that can be created around these actors and the lifestyle and
You mean
the
everything's
world.
not perfect all the time? All the time?
Reality check, yeah. So I think that just like anybody else, there's a lot that goes on in my life, and
Any tips, tricks, or techniques you've learned over the years that have sort of helped you navigate the difficult times or the hard times?
Keeping the right people around you. I think that you should keep people that were there for you since day one, and who really know you for who you are, because I think that it's very easy to get caught up in this world, and you need people that'll put you in check and call you out when you need to be.
Especially in Hollywood.
Yes, I'd say so.
So what's next for you?
I can't give much details on it, but shooting a feature film later on this year. which I'm really excited about. It touches on a lot of social issues that are going on today, and I feel very passionate and pulled to do it. So,
what's your greatest dream for yourself, do you think?
I don't really have anything preset in my mind. I think that whatever life throws at me, whatever the universe has for me in the future will be perfect, and I'm just gonna kind of.
Have you always been that way, even as a kid? Were you that way, sort of?
Yeah, very trusting. Yeah. Very trusting in the process.
Not one of those people that sits there and like visualizes and sets intentions for everything.
Of course, that's always going to happen naturally, but that wasn't part of the way that I viewed things. Because I think that if you set expectations for yourself and they don't happen exactly how you kind of planned it out, then you're just going to be left disappointed. And in this industry, you can't have that mentality because there's a lot of rejection, a lot of disappointment, and you just kind of have to go with what comes.
Yeah, very reminiscent of Michael Landon, the actor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he used to say that a lot. You know, to sort of drop the expectations. And,
Yeah,
okay.
you really do.
Well, please tell everyone where they can find and follow you.
Oh, on Instagram, Philip Lewitsky, Twitter, Facebook, all social media platforms. Yeah.
And Utopia Falls on Hulu.
And Utopia Falls on Hulu. Yeah. Out now.
Out now. Thank you so much, Philip. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So keep streaming. We'll be back with more. 4, 3, 2. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm your host, Jez Mouillet, aka The Trading Bell. What a morning it will be. Due to recent news, we're expecting that the market will be down today, but that could potentially present some opportunity for us. Let's take a look at our watch list. One of the things that differentiates the Trading Bell from any of the other stock shows, other than we do live trading, is everything that we do is on camera, so you can see it as it happens. You are seeing what's happening right now in this moment. 2020, it's all about money, money, money. That is my motto. Remember, money never sleeps, pal. That's right. That's why I'm here trading in Los Angeles live with you at the opening bell. Whew, sun is not even up yet, but the stocks are on the move. Numbers are moving faster than I can even speak. Well, let's face it. I'm excited. I'm thrilled. I've got goosebumps. This is a history in the making. Top of the list, SVRA up 154% this morning. Build BVI at 162. Oh, that feels good. BPH, Spring Baked Pharmaceuticals up 22%. That is going to make for a very sweet start to 2020. Filled. Woo! That feels good. Just a disclaimer, this is an entertainment show, so please don't treat any of the information you hear on the show as an investment advice, because trading is risky. Let's end the year strong. Visit EverTalk TV, Facebook, or Instagram at The Trading Bell. Remember, every dream has its price. What's yours?
There you go.
Welcome back to EverTalk Live. We are here with Gaston Martinez, and we are celebrating life today.
There you go.
With mezcal. I just love this bottle.
Are you kidding?
So
it's ridiculous. It's so clean, and you gotta see the stopper here. I mean, look at that.
Yeah, nice. It's handmade from onyx. Wow. We outsource the onyx in our distillery down in Durango, Mexico, and every bottle is unique. You know, you have a nice, unique bottle every time you get one.
Wow.
You know, it even says right here on the label that it's rooted in heritage. So tell me a little bit about your heritage.
Well, I mean, everything starts because I was born and raised in Mexico. In my family, mezcal has been always present, right? And I thought to bring something from my hometown to the world. I've been living in San Diego, actually, for the past 16 years. And I was thinking, how can I just translate all that, our culture, our that family moment, right, to the world, right? And this is made to be shared, and it's a wonderful, experience for me to create this and bring it to the world. It's just fascinating. But in mezcal has been in the process for the past 500 years in Mexico, and even before than tequila. And then when I saw all that and all the culture and the history behind the product, I just tried to put it together.
So, what is the difference between tequila and
there you
mezcal?
Good question.
The main difference when you produce tequila, it tends to be like on the pressure cooker. You know, they steam the agave, and there's no like extra flavor. But with mezcal, you roast the agave in a fire pit for 4 or 5 days. We use oak wood. Then we as a volcanic fire pit. You throw the agave hearts.
Volcanic fire pit.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you throw the agave hearts, you cover them, and let it sit for 4 or 5 days, and then slow cooking, and that smoky taste will come after that. That's the main one of the main differences. All the difference is for tequila you have only one single type of agave. It's blue agave. In mezcal you have around 50 plus different type of agaves, and you have 9 regions in Mexico, and it's just so wild and different. I mean, it's hard not to find a mezcal you won't like, because there's so many options. It's like wine, right? I mean, you like the Napa, you know, Bordeaux, you like any different type of region, you will connect. The same thing with mezcal.
Wow, fascinating. So you have this rich heritage, and then you've sort of had this love for mezcal, and you had this dream.
Yeah.
And what was the most important thing you did that made that dream a reality?
Well, I mean, don't give up. Always thinking about like, you know, you have your mindset, what you want, and you're gonna go through bumps in the process, but the whole point is just keep going and keep going. And especially this industry, this a very competitive industry, right? I mean, you wanna put your brand out there and compete with the rest. Right. Well, then you have to create, I mean, the whole process and the whole setup and the whole image from your package and from your product since the beginning, right? And then that was kind of the idea. How can we create a product that will stand out, be different from the rest? And this is what we did.
Being all natural, award-winning flavor helps.
That does help.
Certainly. So what is your favorite way to drink this mezcal?
Well, if you ask me, neat on the rocks, yes. And but I understand, you know, in order to get to that point, you need to have a lot of training, right? Because I tend
to work up to
it. Your palate is not gonna connect right away to that kind of you know, intensity and flavor. We really love like spicy, skinny margarita.
Oh, I like a spicy skinny too.
And, but that is I mean, it helps to bring all the flavors. I mean, in this mezcal, we did a nice profile with a low smoke. And some of the mezcals, they tend to be very, very smoky, and they kind of push all the rest of the flavors away. For us, it was important to showcase all the flavors, you know, the sweetness, the fruitness, even the earthiness on the product, and then have a round mezcal. And when you have too much smoke, push everything away. And this is a high proof. This is 94%. Oh. That means it will take you places right away.
We all have that story with tequila mezcal, don't we?
But what is most important too is it's so smooth in the finish. I mean, you wouldn't, if I tell you it's a low profile content, you won't believe me, because we create a nice smooth finish, and that's very important for me. The way we kind of put all this together, have a nice round smooth that you can enjoy.
If you could enjoy this mezcal with anyone,
oh,
who would it be?
Oh, well, I have a big list, you know. No, but definitely, I mean, family and friends, people that, especially in Mexico, you know, when you open a bottle of mezcal and you have your friends over, I mean, you get very intimate, right? You share, and especially in my connection with this product, I want to share it with everybody. You know, every time I go to a party, I bring a mezcal and I talk about the product, and it's so fascinating for the people that actually understand. You know, hey, we're talking with the mezcal maker, right? And then this is so cool.
So why the name?
It comes from the name of the type of agave. We use agave cenizo, and we took the last 3 letters of the name and create a nice, simple to remember. Because sometimes you get to those bars and you love that product, and like a what is the name of that? And then it just, I mean, and then you start taking pictures, and we try to you know, create a nice, easy to remember name that it will be, you know, working for every market, right? Here, there, you name it.
Love it.
Well, I'll raise a glass
Indeed.
to you
Cheers.
today. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
We appreciate you. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow and get your product.
Well, check out our website, isomezcal.com, our Instagram, isomezcal, and you find all the information where our mezcal is available and all the good news. We're bringing new products for the end of the year. We're going to integrate Sotol ensemble, that is 2 types of agaves, and we're also going to integrate some tequila cristalino.
Cool.
Mezcal reposado, añejo. You name it. We're here to stay.
All the things.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for streaming today with us. We are EverTalk Live, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. All the episodes are available on EverTalk TV on Apple TV and Roku.
That's right, guys. Have some mezcal. Have a great weekend on purpose.
Happy Friday.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.